Well, hello. Hi, Demetra and everybody. Oh, that's how you turn the camera around. Hi. Okay. So, it's me, Demetra. Hi, Demetra. Just sitting here and I just started talking to myself, thinking to myself, and I'm like, why not just press record? Because this is me. Drinking some coffee. Yeah. So, okay, what was I just thinking about? Goodness, I knew this was going to happen. Like, I'm over here, got so many. I mean, of course, it's going to come back to me. But I got like so many thoughts and ideas. And then when I'm like, gotta do something, it's just like some of it just go. And I'm like, what was I about to say? Like, I was ready. But yeah, but basically, it's just me talking anyway. So, since, like I said, I'm talking to myself, might as well just record myself talking to myself, you know, in a way. But yeah, yeah, I was thinking, yeah, this came to me so random, yeah, that I'm not a really good speller. Like, I've been known that for years that I cannot really spell, you know. And me, I'm the type of person that how learning how to read, I was taught, I'm speaking myself, sound out the words. So like if it's syllables, sound out the syllables, and then like keep saying it until you get a word that that it sound like a word. Now sometimes when you be sounding out the syllable, the word how it's pronounced don't even look like the spelling of it, and that's what gets me, because I'm like, I can spell words how while I'm sounding it out, but then go to a dictionary, or you look it up and you just spelled it wrong, and I'm like, and even when I know I'm spelling it wrong, but I'm sounding it out. So when I'm like, this how it look like it should be spelled, but it's spelled like all this extra letters, or a extra letter, or no letter, or a silent letter, or just, it's like, what? Just make it simple. Like, goodness, we taught to sound out the words. Like, can we just stick to that? Like, oh, that's something else. Like, older people, senior citizens, I'm like, make it simple for them. Like, take it back when we was 5, 6 years old. Like, that's how it's supposed to be. Like, all this extra learning for things that most of us don't even utilize once we graduate school, any kind of school. It's like, what? So I'm like taking, like, how can I say this? When senior citizens, well, I ain't gonna say senior citizens, I'm just say older people. Well, shoot, for any age people, I'm like, shouldn't you want it to have it simple? Like, people signing contracts that's run on sentences that got semicolons, decimal points, an article, ABC, parentheses. Like, what is this, what is this trying to tell me? Like, come on now. It could be a whole page, and that whole page will be only 4 sentences. It's like, come on now. Talk to me like I'm 5, 6 years old. What is this? So, adding no extra stuff and using big words. Like, no, I don't think so. Keep that thing simple. And I be getting back that feeling of I'm in elementary school at recess. Like, especially when like that breeze come past And that breeze, I feel it. And I'm like, this that same breeze, from when I was in elementary school, like swinging, swinging on a swing. Like, I feel this, I remember this breeze. Like, I be feeling that, not with every breeze, but it's certain breezes, or, when the wind blow, I'm like, whew, I feel like I'm at such and such when I was 13. When, oh, this felt like that time, I don't know, when I was 17, 12, whatever. Yeah. But, yeah, back to the keep it simple. It's like where I used to work, where I used to work at, excuse me, I used to read a mail. Well, it was called reader mail because it was mail that you had to read, from the people that sent it in. And this was dealing with Medicaid and Medicare, so it's normally for older people, you know, all over the world. So, you know, I be reading, well, I have to read, they letters, what they wrote or typed up, whatever is reader mail. So like you seeing a handwriting for the ones that actually, wrote it or get somebody to wrote it, just whatever. But I'm like reading some stuff, and then when they be like, man, I was like, this what y'all doing to them? Like this how it is? And then the ones that be getting me, well, so many be getting me, but when I keep reading, I was online, I called the 1-800 number, and I was online on hold for 3 hours, and the phone got disconnected, and then when I finally got to somebody, they told me I had to call another number, and so when I be saying, I'm like, they got these older people, Medicaid, Medicare people, Part A, B, C, D people, like on hold that long. And I'm like, and then the ones that's like, I'm on a fixed income, then I got to pay for this, and y'all deducting this. And I'm like, and then the letters that they sent out, like, I'm reading, like, this the company, that's the what Medicaid and Medicaid numbers, because some of that stuff gets returned, the printed out ones that get sent to them. So, well, I'm not really reading it, but I'm just like, this is like a whole lot of sentences. Like, and then even with the reading mail, people like, yeah, you sent me a letter that says this, but I did this. How come this is that? And is this a misprint? And I'm like, man, do these people got time for that? I'll be like, I don't got, listen, like I said, stuff should be free. Like, I'm like, what's the problem? Like, come on, what is the problem? And somebody feel as though, have to start off slow, so I ain't gonna jump to nobody needing no meds. That'll be, uh, man, so many people. If I say that, there's like so many people would not be here right now. So I'm gonna start it off slowly. I gotta work it up, show the work, show my works. So I'll be like, okay, fine. If you need meds, if you feel as though you need meds or whatever, medication, um, it's free. Like, it's free. Hey, I mean, well, what about we gotta pay people who make it? Well, isn't machines really doing it? And that's the thing. I be hearing people the other day, which I've been hearing this, when people talking about other people are taking their jobs from them. Like, oh yeah, people taking our jobs from us. Some people, they taking our jobs. And then even elections, they like, yeah, we're going to create 40 million more jobs, 40,000 jobs, just something. We're going to create X amount of jobs, for the American people, for the people can work, and people, they clapping and cheering. And I'm like, y'all clapping and cheering because y'all want to work? Like, y'all want more jobs to be created so y'all can work until y'all X amount of years old and like, well, I guess that is the American dream, huh? Work for somebody, just keep working. Yeah, create them jobs, create them jobs. I'm like, my thing is like that saying, if you enjoy the work that you do, what is it? Well, if you enjoy it, well, I'm gonna say it how I want to say it. Let me see. Well, how do I want to say it? Let me see. If you enjoy if you enjoy the work that you do and you having fun, you wouldn't mind if you're getting paid or not. Like, you would do it for free, basically. Yes. So it's like, for those of you who want to work, y'all can work. Like, hey, that's y'all choice. That's y'all choice. I mean, and it is what it is. Like, y'all want to do that, y'all want to do that. But for those of you who want to do the things that's fun for you and not getting paid, but kind of still getting paid, but you, man, like everything is free. Like, so you're not even going to be worrying about getting paid because what you're doing it for free and everything to you is free. Like, that kind of thing. If that, makes sense. That came out right. But that's how I see it. I'm like, and then, like I said, a lot of people, like, I mean, it's some people, I'm quite sure, out of everybody in this world, I'm quite sure it's people that do not mind being custodians. I'm quite sure people don't mind cleaning up. It's like, yeah, I enjoy it. It's fun for me. I like to tackle a messy room, and then once I'm done, I just take a look, take a step back, a couple of steps back and look at it and be like, wow, like I did that. Like, yay, this is neat, or, see that I missed something, but it's like, okay, everything is good. So it's like, all right, on to the next. Some people, and I just use that for an example, some people probably like doing landscaping. They enjoy planting, getting their hands in the ground, looking at the flowers, planting flowers, like just making things beautified more. Shoot, some people like to cook. So, some people I'd be like, oh, I don't feel like cooking and this and that. And somebody come along, hey, what do you got in your cabinet? I can figure out make something up or this and that. And then they make something that's like good and they don't mind doing it. It's like, yeah, I'll cook. What do you got in your house? I bring, some stuff and fix it up. Like, some people don't mind doing that, like, just to do it for free. Like, if I say ain't nobody getting paid, like, you just do what you do, but know that everything is taken care of. So it's like you don't even gotta touch no money unless you want to touch money, because money is nothing, because it's like everything is free. Like, what? But that's, of course, if you rolling with me, you know. But So it's like, how can I say this? I mean, it's gonna, wow. Oh my goodness, it's like, I mean, cause oh my goodness, whew, man, oh my goodness, it's gonna be so freaking amazing. I mean, more than that, like, oh my goodness, like simplified, like that's the key word, simple, 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 like I said, take it back to when we was 5, like, shoot. And I'm like, we wasn't learning no run-on sentences. We was learning what um, Bob went to the store. And it's the period at the end. And then after a while, we graduated to the different exclamation marks at the end of a sentence. So I'm like, shoot, keep it that way. Like with the older people, just with anything, like even all this stuff that you gotta read and then agree to. Like what are you trying to say? What is this? Sum this up. Like what is it? I'm tired of me reading all of this. Like what man. Like I said, all that reading, like, ooh, sum it up. Tell me what's up, what this whole thing says, you know, so I can understand it. What is it? The basics. Because shoot, I'll be like, I'ma write something on my own on the bottom. I'ma be like, this is what it is. This is what I want. Like I don't even know what's up in here that you know that you talking about. I did read the beginning, but I seen some other stuff in the middle, and I'm like, what? Like, come on, what are you saying? Because this, you say this in this sentence, but down here you say something else. Like, what does that mean? And then what's this word mean? Like, nobody be carrying no dictionaries on them. Well, I guess people got phones, so they can just, you don't know a word, just Google it. And then, read the sentence, and then you got to create a sentence of your own so you can understand it. Like if you look that word up, and then, you see different examples, but then you like, don't you know, oh my goodness, when I be going, it's funny to me how like I look up a word, go to the Google and look it up, and then in the words or in the definition of it, they saying like a whole nother word that I don't even know. I'm like, I'm trying to look up a word for this. That means I gotta look up another word for this word. Like, so like, what does this word mean? Like, did I go to the sentences or the examples? And I'm like, what? Because that can go either way. Like, now, let me just look up the second word. So it's like, but yeah, but it'd be funny to me. It'd be interesting. It's funny. But yeah, I'll be writing, like, if this is like something major, somebody send me all this and like say as they face to face with me, nothing done with online. I'm talking about like a face to face. Here go a paper, and they got like more than one sheet basically. They got more than one sheet. I'm like, what is just, you couldn't put this in like 3 or 4 sentences? Like, Bob went to the store, stuff like that. Not no, sentence one is whatever, 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 and then you get a sentence three, and then it says a big word, and then it says go back to sentence one or something. It's like, what? Like, look, stop trying to make things complicated. Like, for real. It's not even that serious. It's like somebody, you know, having a conversation with me. It's like, just say what you want. Like, and then once you talk it out or say what you want, then you can sum it up on paper. Shoot. And then I tell you what I want. Yeah. But if somebody, said, present me with something face to face, and it's like all these stacks of sheets, and I'm like, what is this, man? Listen, this is what I want. I'm gonna tell you this is what I want. I'm gonna write it down what I want, and then you sign off on it. You sign what I'm presenting to you. Like, you can present whatever you want, but sum it up. Cause I'm still ain't gonna sign that. Shoot, you can sign the one I presented to you, and you keep that paper. Cause I already know what it is. I already know what I want, so I wouldn't keep that. You keep it. I already, it's in me. Like, that's what it is. Like, and then of course you can tell me, like I said, what you want. We can come to an agreement and just keep it simple and consistent. But yeah, going back to, when I was 5, well, when I was in kindergarten, Miss Marshall in Bradbury Heights. Oh yeah, my kindergarten teacher, she looked like Felicia Rashad. So when I used to watch the Cosby Show, I'd just be like, she looked like Miss Marshall. But yeah, but I remember, oh my goodness, used to be reading in a circle. Man, oh, and I got a Barbie doll. I remember how I got the Barbie doll. Um, it was going to be the prize because we had to take this test, some school test, that we had to take, and we had to go outside of our classroom to take it. I don't know where we was at, I don't know. We was in a room, but we had to sit down and take this test, and we knew that the test was coming up soon, and Miss Marshall, she was like, okay, I'm gonna give a prize to the first person who finished, the first girl who finished the test, and the first boy who finished the test. So it was like, okay. But I wasn't, thinking about all that. And I'm like, I'm gonna just do this, do what I have to do and be finished, be finished with it. So, yeah, this was this the time I came in the room after everybody. Yeah, I think that's the time. But anyway, so the day came to take the test, and we walked in line to the room we had to go in, and and when you was finished with the test, you're supposed to go up, push your paper on the desk, face down, and go outside and go back to the classroom. Walk back to the classroom. So I remember, sitting down at the desk. We got our single desk, and we, was taking the test, and then I finished the test, like, and I remember like looking up, and when I finished, like me, I didn't want to be the first person standing up. Like, actually, I think somebody finished before me. A boy finished before me, and but I was just like, okay, that's the boy. But I'm like, I don't want to be the first girl, like, because people going to be looking. Because I was looking up when I was done. So I'm looking around and I just seen everybody, like, just focusing on it. And so I'm like, and then someone was like rushing. They looked like they was like rushing through it. And I'm like, and someone was, deep into it. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm done. So I'm waiting. Like, I know somebody about to be finished now. So it just seemed like it was taking a while. So I'm like, I don't want to be sitting here. And I even started going back over it, over my test to make sure, okay, it looks good. Yeah, this is right. Yeah, So I'm like, hey, ain't nobody still not finished. So I'm like, I'm just have to get up because I'm trying to go back to the classroom, and color, do something. I ain't trying to be up in here in this room. So then and then like I said, I didn't want to. It was like, how you go to church. Well, I don't know, because I can't remember. Well, yeah, I like, you late to church, quote unquote, late to church, and then so service is happening or something, and then this is like, I guess, some olden churches, I ain't gonna say olden like that, like I'm saying it in like a good way. When you walk in, and then the church, the seats right there, like you don't gotta walk down no hall, you don't gotta make no twists and turns, it's not like a big section, you know um once you enter the door, then it's a big section, then you walk further, and then that's the church. No, it was like you open the door, and it's a small walkway in the church right here, or not even a walkway. You just walk up, boom, you see the pews. But anyways, y'all, I like, the service in, or the pastor, preacher, minister, whoever is talking, and then you walk in, you open the door, and everybody just like look back. Not everybody, but most people look back, and then other people, they continue to pay attention. Hey, and then you gotta find a seat, so it's like, if there's a usher, it's like, hey, can you scoot over that way? Or if it's, some seats open, you gotta go and walk, and then it's like people looking at you, and it's just like, oh, you feel people just watching you, like, it's like, no, I don't want to be, it's like, please don't, no, don't stare. But anyway, so I'm like sitting at the desk, and I'm like, I don't want to get up because people going to be, they're going to look up and see, oh, who's the next person, and this and that. So I'm just like, I just, man, it's been times when I had to sharpen my pencil, and goodness, who got the freaking pencil sharpeners right in front of the classroom, right in front of the door when you walk in? Man, I did not like that when I had to shop at my dad on pencils. And I'm like, and I'm sitting in the back of the class, but I'm like, regardless of wherever I'm sitting at, it's like I would have to get up, and then if the teacher, up in the front teaching something, or even sitting at her desk and we doing work, and it's like I gotta get up, and then I'm quite sure somebody gonna look and be like, oh, who's getting up? And I gotta make the noise for the grinder, making a noise for the pencil to get sharpened. Then I gotta walk back down. It's like I'm like, I don't want people be all looking at me. Like, I don't know. I just didn't really like that. Like, that much. Like, okay, shoot. So I'll be having pencils that I peel back the top part, like the point, with my finger. Like, I'm like, I don't not feel like getting up. So let me see, can I bend this wood back so I can get to the lid. So yeah, what was I saying? Um, so yeah, so anyways, I had got up and then, put the paper down, I just turned it in, and yeah, and I walked out the classroom. So I'm walking out the classroom and I'm like, okay, now I gotta walk. I mean, now I gotta walk to my original classroom, back to Miss Marshall's class. So I'm like, all right, I'm walking by myself, which was fine. I wasn't like tripping, like, oh, I don't got nobody to talk to because I didn't talk, anyway, you know. So I'm just walking. And then I started realizing, like, wait a minute. Mm, excuse me. Okay. Okay, we had half of the class that took the test, and the other half was in the classroom already. Yes, that's what it was. It was like half of us went, and the other half, stayed. So I'm walking towards the classroom, and then so I started thinking, like, I don't want to go in the room by myself. I know I have to open the door, and then people going to be looking. The kids going to be looking at me, and so I'm like, ugh, do I got to do this again? So I'm like, that, and this, like the church thing again. It's like the first time, yeah, getting up with everybody else sitting down to, turn the paper in and leave out. And now this time I'm like, all right, I gotta enter. And now, you know, when people can be sitting down, standing up, like I don't know what, was going on in the classroom, but I'm like, I'm quite sure somebody gonna look, gonna see me coming in and be like, oh, okay. Mm-mm. So then I started walking slower. I started walking slower, down the hallway, and I'm like, I'm quite sure some of my, the other people should be finished their tests now. Like, come on now. Like, so my plan was to just go ahead and wait for, other people to start walking down the hallway. And then I can go in with them, as a group. I'm like, okay, if I wait for, a couple of them or at least one other person, we can walk back, to the classroom together. So I'm like, I can see the classroom door, but I'm like, come on, people, anybody coming, anybody finish? I'm in my head like, what? Why does it take so long? Like, what's the problem? And I'm like, goodness. So yeah, so basically, and I was like procrastinating. I remember like trying to tie my shoe, pretend like I was tying my shoe. If a teacher walked down the hall, they're like, where you going? I'm like, mm-hmm, you know, and they were like, okay, or just something. I probably even went to the water fountain. Like I was procrastinating, like waiting for others, waiting for the, others to come, even if it was one person. But then I started thinking like, oh, what is it, one person? Now I want a group, you know. But then, hey, guess what I heard coming down the hall? The kids, and they just loud. You know how you supposed to walk back to walk in the hallway quietly. Like I hear laughing and footsteps and running, so I'm like, oh, okay, good. You know they coming. So I'm like, all right. So they was just like running and making noise and stuff. So I guess whatever. And then so they running and then they done ran past me and I'm like, all right, like what the heck? And I'm like, I ain't trying to run up to catch them. So I'm like, damn, why they running? I'm like, why were they running? But then I'm thinking, the kids, we like to race, like to keep, racing with each other. But so I'm like, and then by the time, like I said, I was close to the door. I think before the kids even came, but I was waiting for them. I even went to the door and about to turn it, but I was just like, nah, let me walk back. So I walked back down the hallway, like, okay, people, come on. So I was literally outside Miss Marshall's classroom, like just waiting, and then I started walking back down the hall further away from the door, to be like, all right, let me, if somebody asks me, I can be like, I just came from the bathroom, even though we had the bathroom in our class. I was just like thinking about things. But like I said, I heard the kids running. So I'm like, all right. So then I started walking back towards Miss Marshall's door. I was like walking slowly because I'm like, oh my goodness, even when I started walking slowly, I hear them. Like I heard them running and jumping and stuff like that, but they were still taking a while. I'm like, didn't I just hear y'all? Like I hear y'all. Like where y'all at? So then finally I'm like close to the door, so I just stand still and then I turn back and then I hear everybody, well not everybody, but then I hear the group, coming up and I'm like, all right, I see them, I hear them, I'm like, all right, cool. And then they all like walking fast, and I think a teacher was like, y'all too loud in the hallway, get in line, be quiet. And then they were just like walking fast or like trying to get in front of each other still, but like in a walking fast kind of thing. So I'm already, like I said, a couple of feet from Miss Marshall's door, but I wasn't going to, open it or whatever. I was just going to go in with the group, even if I'm at the end, I was just going to go in, with everybody. So So then I made it to the door, and it is like some stragglers. It's probably like, I don't know, like 6 kids that was running, and like 2 others in the back. It was like spaced out at this point when it got to me. So I'm like, all right, let me, pick up the speed some. So I seen the first group of people, kids go in the room, then the door closed, and then I'm like, okay, what the heck? It's like, damn, they was I'm like, I'm right here, and they first ain't even hold the door open or nothing, but I wasn't close to the door. But I'm like, and then I seen, the stragglers, which they wasn't too far apart from each other, but I'm like, okay, person can hold the door open. So then the person came, and then they hold the door open. I mean, it was just like weird. But I know when I was finally about to go in, like, shoot, I don't know if I end up being the last person to go in, but I remember when I was the last person, well, who knows if, like I said, if I was the last person, but I know when I opened the door, because I remember this person was in front of me, and then they ain't even held the door, but I remember I was standing right there, like, did this boy not, yeah, I guess it was a boy, because I'm like, did this boy not even see me? Like, he not even want to hold the door open for me? And then I even was about to call him like, hey, wait. Or I probably even said like, wait, and then the door, just closed. And I'm like, dang it. Yeah, I think I called out. I was like, wait. And then the door just closed, like he ain't even see me. Like, okay. And I remember like that, yeah. And I remember like, what in the world? So then I was like, all right, Demetra, just go in. So I turned that knob. And I remember like opening up, and then like everything was like a bright, like the floor, like it was like a bright light, like the whole room was just light. It wasn't like nobody shining flashlight. It was like you go in, it was just bright, bright white light. I don't know. It was just, yeah, it was just something. And then like I don't know. And then like I seen the floor, so it was like the floor was even white, like oh my god. And that was not the floor color in the classroom. I think we probably had carpet, or even when you first walk in the classroom, it was like that brownish, blackish tile. And then when you walk further up, it's like that permanent, carpet or whatever. But yeah, but I remember opening up the door, like I see it, like I'm seeing it now, and it was just like white because I probably was looking down at the floor. When I walk in, I wasn't like looking up; I was looking down at the floor because I didn't want to look at nobody. Just want to go, close the door, go to my desk, and So I remember like just opening up the door and then like looking down, and I just seen white, like everything white. And I remember looking up, and it was a bright, like bright light white, like I don't know. And then that was it, and that's all I remember. I'm like, I can't remember nothing else after, what happened the rest of that day, or who knows? Is it still today? Shoot. That's I'm like, all this can be one day. All these years people been here celebrating birthdays. It's like, this is just one day. All this is one day. For real, for real. But yeah, and I think like the next day, or I don't know when it was, but I know Miss Marshall, she gave me a Barbie doll. Oh my goodness, she called me up to the front of the class. She was like, yeah, the first person to finish the test. Like, I got the Barbie doll for something. I believe it was that for the first person finishing the test. But I'm like, how in the world did she know I finished, the test first? Like, I wasn't even expecting, none of that. Like, you know, so I don't know, but I know it was me and Earl. She gave me the ball doll. She called me up to the front of the class, and she was like, "Yeah, look what Demetra has, everybody." And I was just like, like, why you gotta put me on the spot in front of everybody?" Like that's what I'm saying in my head. Like, oh my goodness, like, can I sit down now? Like, mm. But yeah, she gave me a nice doll, baby Barbie doll. And then she was like, "Yeah, your sister is in the first grade, right?" And I'm just like, "Uh-huh," like, "Yes." She was like, "Come on, let's go to her classroom and show her what you got." And I'm like, "Okay." And I think I was excited about that part because I'm like, "Yeah, another toy me and my sister can play together, or or something." I was just like, "Okay, we can do that." So I wasn't like, I don't want to show her, my mind. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't mind showing my sister my doll baby. Like, yeah, I got like excited, like, yay. So she walked me down the hall to my sister's classroom, and then, my sister came out in the hallway, closed the door. And then Marsha was like, sure, what she got? And I was like, yeah. You know what? I can even remember my sister's reaction of it. Who knows? I mean, I'm probably gonna remember it, coming soon since I'm thinking about it now. But I don't know. But I know I got a Barbie doll from finishing the test first, but I wasn't even like expecting that, or like. I mean, I know when Sponsor said, you want to get a gift, whoever the first person, but that wasn't even what I was, you know, going after. Like, I was just like, let me just finish this and go back to the class. It ended up being, I'm gonna just say the last person back, the first person to finish the test. I'm gonna say the first girl that finished the test, and the last girl to walk through them doors. Hmm. Oh, and we made stone soup. Till this day, like for some reason, I don't even want to know it was it real or not. 'Cause I'm like, keep that to yourself. Like, don't even tell me, cause I'm already in my mind like it's real. Like, I'm gonna just stick with it. Like, even if it wasn't, at this point, I'm gonna say we made stone soup and we used the stones that we picked out from outside. And we was reading a book. We was reading a book or a poem or something, and it was about stone soup. How like some travelers made some stone soup, like they had some vegetables, and they didn't really have much, so they was like, well, we got some water, we can find some stones, wash them, wipe them off real good, because the stones got some flavor in them, and something. And I know that's what the teacher was basically saying. So that's what I remember. The stones got flavor in them, and just put some vegetables inside, and make a good broth, like a good soup. So once we finished reading that story or whatever, we had a project, that we, or an activity that we went outside, and we had to, pick up some stones, from the playground from outside in the back, because our classroom connected to the playground, our classroom door. So, Miss Marshall just had to open the door. We went outside, and I think we was with another class too. I don't think it was like two classes, but so we all went outside. So we kids, we looking around. I'm looking around for rocks, and I was like, I ain't gonna get no big one or stone rocks, whatever. So I'm just looking around, and I seen some kids picking up big ones, and I hear them saying, "No, that's mine. Oh, look at this one. Is this good?" So I'm just going further out, but not really out, because I was just like focusing on the ground, like, okay, with you know, like I'll find something. I wasn't fighting to find one, because I'm like, it's plenty of rocks. Like, I ain't fighting over no rock. Like, y'all. So I'm just like looking, and I'm looking, and then I seen one, that caught my attention, and I'm like, okay, picked it up, like, you're gonna be the one. And I just started walking back to get in line, you know. So, and then, anyways, once we, stood in line and we got back inside the classroom, it's a sink. We actually had two sinks, one near the bathroom and one like of this big sink. I guess that's like, when we kept like the paints and stuff. But so we had to wash it off, like ourselves, wash it off, and then go and put it in a pot, or give it to the teacher, and the teacher can put it in a pot, something. But there was this big black pot, or well, was it black? I don't know what it was, but it was a big one. So rinsed it off, and I even gave it to the teacher, and I think they got to inspect it to be like, okay, the dirt's gone, or something. I don't know, but I think we had to wash it off and then give it to the teacher, and then I guess they look at it and be like, okay, put it in a pot, or we just give it to them and they do whatever. I don't know, but I know I was good with my rock, whatever. It wasn't it was a rock, stone. So sat down, then they end up cooking something in the back. Like I said, all this was going on in the back. We went back to our desk, to our seats, and then so the teachers, they was in the back cooking up something, and you can smell the goodness. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, it smells good. Like, like, and I'm just like, all of our stones is in a pot, that's what it was, for me. So of course, they gave us a bowl of it, and it was like, all right, this is y'all soup. This is, what y'all made. Shoot, I was excited to try that. Because I was like, oh my goodness, this is from stones? This is stone soup? Okay. You know, you can pick up some stones, put it in water, and, add some vegetables, and, come up, and this, and it tastes good. Like, okay. So it tasted good. Shoot. I enjoy that. Yeah, I think the teachers went around asking if anybody wants some more. I was like, shoot, yeah. Shoot, I was probably the first person to raise my hand. Like, can I get some more, please? But yeah, so that was good. So like I said, who knows if and be like, y'all know it wasn't no real stones. That was just some soup that they made. They ain't put no rocks in no pot and serve y'all. Somebody tell me that, I'm like, listen, what I feel, I'm gonna keep it how I feel. Like, hey, no, I'm gonna keep it what I know. So, yeah. What else I wanna? What else I wanna say? Oh, yeah, my other teacher that I remember from Bradbury Heights, Mr. Duncan. He was my sixth grade teacher. Yeah. Shoot. Yeah. I'm glad I had him as a teacher versus the other sixth grade teachers. And my older sister, she had him for a teacher the year before, and I think that was my first male teacher. But yeah. I remember for Christmas, I'm in Mr. Duncan's class, and for Christmas we was doing a Secret Santa. So, everybody had to write their name on a paper and, put it in a bag or in a hat, and then somebody would come up and everybody will come up and pull a name from the hat, and that would be your secret person that you got to give a gift to. And then Mr. Duncan was like, the gifts can't be over $5, because of course our parents, is the one that's going to be paying for it. So the he was like, the gift cannot be no more than $5. So that was it. So I don't know what number, how many people in my class. I don't know. I'm gonna just say it was like 26 students, in my class, whatever. So I probably was like somewhere the near to the top to go first, you know. I'm gonna just say 10th person. I'm gonna just say that I was like the 10th person to go up. So I go up, reach in the bag, pull out the sticker, or pull out the paper, get back to my desk, and then I open it, and then I see my name. I'm like, oh, Demetra, that's me. So by this time, maybe like two people would have went, got their names and coming back to their desk. So then I raised my hand. He was like, yes. I was like, I got my own name. And he was like, oh, okay, come back up here. So then it was like people was still, how we was going up was by how you your desk was sitting. So that's the order it was going. So people, the kids was still going up, getting names out. So then I remember when I got up there, somebody was already reaching their hand in the bag. So I'm like, I'll wait till they, get their hand out and then drop my paper in, which I did. So they got their hand out. I put my paper in, and then shook the bag up every time somebody finished pulling a name out. The bag get shooken up after every person. So the person, walking back to their seat. So the bag getting shooken up, reached in the bag, pulled out a paper. So walking back to my desk, and then so I'm like, all right, let's see who I got now. I open it up. Why was my name again? Demetra. I'm like, why do I keep pulling my name? So at this point, I'm like, everybody just about done. So I'm like, if I put my name back in the bag and it's like, six people still left to go up there, I know one of them six will get my name, So it's, I'm like, which one of you six? And then by the time I put it in, it's like, which one of you five, So I'm like, so I'm sitting at the desk and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna just wait, So then I raised my hand, and then sure enough, Miss Duncan was like, "Yes, Demisha," and I was like, "I got my name again," and then so the class was laughing, and it was funny, and then like, but everybody was laughing, I was laughing too, but I was just like, "This is, like weird, like." You get my name two times in a row, and I didn't, fold up my name like the paper no specific kind of way. It was just like he just said fold it in half anyway, like, and he even probably gave, cut out the sheets of paper to make sure that it was even. He was just like just fold it one time, and that's it. And I believe that's what it was, like fold it one time and that's it, or fold it one way and then fold it again, like everybody folded their paper the same way, basically. So I'm like, you know. So then he was like, "Well, just wait right there, So basically, everybody, had got one or something. So people was like, "What about Demetra?" Miss Duncan was like, "Well, Demetra, it's your lucky day. Uh, um, you it ain't gonna be no secret Santa because I'm gonna give you a gift and you can give me a gift." And I'm like, "Oh, okay," So I was fine with that. I'm like, "That's fine." I mean, what else, what else, can I say? Hey, who wanna, there ain't gonna be no secret Santa anyway if I give my paper to somebody because I already gonna know that, they my secret Santa, and then whatever name that they give me, we were to switch. If I say, well, I'm gonna take your person and you just gonna do me, you know, what I'm trying to say. They already know, they can tell the person like, yeah, you know, I had your name, but I gave it to the Mitra, or if they haven't already told, because when we go back to the seats, so when we get a paper, some kids was already like opening up and be like, yeah, I got you, or who you got, that people was already doing that. So shoot, probably really wasn't a secret Santa at the end of it all when it came to that day, because everybody knew who had who. But yeah, so the rules was, as far as a secret Santa, whoever participated is like, you cannot get your gift until you bring in a gift for your person. So if somebody had you, as a secret Santa, and they brought your gift in, but the person that you picked out, you didn't bring their gift in yet, you was not able to take your gift home. So and that was including me too. Like Mr. Duncan wasn't going to give me my gift if I didn't give him his gift. So I remember, telling my mother, yeah, I gotta give my teacher a gift. My mother was like, "What? You got no money for that?" So I'm just like, "What the heck?" Like, and then like days was building up to our like last day or whatever, for it, for to do the gifts thing. And like he said, you all can start bringing in gifts, whenever, it's probably like I don't know, 4 days or a week before the last day for, we out of school for the break. So people was bringing in gifts and stuff like that. And then, so it was getting close to me. So Mr. Duncan was like, well, Demetra, socks and ties is fine. So I'm like, yay. So I even told my mother, well, a pair of socks. Mother was like, she was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not spending no money on that or. And I'm like, nowadays, you go to the dollar store and the dollar store got like three pair of socks for $1. So I'm like, shoot, how much was it back then? When I was in the sixth grade. But shoot, like you couldn't spend $1 on this man. But I mean, hey, so it was getting. This was the last day. This was like the last day before the break. Okay. And I remember, I think it was on a Friday too, or before the weekend. It was something, but I know it was on a Friday. And so Mrs. Duncan, the day before, Mr. Duncan reminded me, Demetra, I have your gifts. I have your gift here. It's in the closet. But, I can't give you your gift unless you give me my gifts. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, and that was like the last night. So I went home, told my mother again, no, Dee Dee, no, no, no. So I'm like, all right. So while I'm looking around the house and I'm like, it's got to be something in here that I can just give this man, like something. So I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't give him no food because I'd be like weird. Like, here go a box of cereal, because I'm like, my mother would notice, like, if food is gone, like, why would I give him a box of cereal? So I'm like, what to do? I'm looking around. So I'm like, and my mother, she be having like these figurines or these little statues or just like globes or like ornaments like around the house. So she had this one, you know how they have like them glass balls that when you turn it upside down, like the snow will fall or the sprinkles and stuff will come out. So she had something like that, but it wasn't like a childish kind of one. It was a black base with like I think a gold around the bottom trim, and then it was like not even a circle glass. I don't even know what shape it was up top, but it was like a crystal clear kind of thing with something in the inside of it. I want to say it probably was like a pyramid maybe. No, it wasn't like the Epcot Center. You know how they have it's like a circle, but it got dents up top. But I know it was not a smooth circle. I know it was not that though. But anyways, I sure enough grabbed that morning. I grabbed it that morning. I don't even think I had, and then my mother, she probably had some tissue paper left, and I just wrapped it up in some tissue paper. No, matter of fact, I ain't even do that. I, oh, did I do that? Yeah, I think I wrapped it up in some tissue paper. Wrapped it up around in some tissue paper. So got to school, and then I was just in my head like, then my mother gonna, if she gonna notice something missing when she come home or this and that, I was just like, do I give it to him? Do I just be like, no? But I'm like, this is the last day, so I'm like, this is the last day. So I'm like, I'm just go ahead and give it to him. So it was getting like close to the end of the school day. So Mrs. Duncan was like, Demetra, did you bring in the gift? And I was like, yes. So I was like hesitant to give it to him. I was like, here you go. So then, he, like I said, did I wrap it up? I don't know, but I know when he looked at it, he was like, okay. And then he put it on his desk. And I remember, like, later on, he came to me. He was like, Demetra, was that gift under $5? And I was like, mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, you know. He was like, okay, shoot. I mean, I don't know how much it cost, but she was I, free for me when I gave it to him, you know. So, so at the end, he said, "Well, I got your gift in the closet. I give it to you, when we leaving out when it's time to leave when it's dismissal time." So I'm like, okay. So in my mind, I was like, do I even want to accept the gift? Because I'm just like, like, and I'm like, if I don't, it'll be weird, and I'm just, ugh, man. But I was just like, it is what it is. So at the end of the day, he gave me my gifts, and it was two big boxes that he got from Sam's Club. Okay, he got them from Sam's Club. Two big boxes of the cheese and crackers, the snack packs, the ones that have the red stick that come inside of it. And this is, I don't know, Sam's Club. I think it's, I don't know, like 50 in a box, 50 in a case, or 25, and I don't know, but it was two big box, two nice sized boxes. So when he gave it to me, this is like close to the end of the day, and everybody was like, ooh, 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 and so and so he used to sell them at snack time for 25 cents each. Like if you want, because we had snack time, which was like a half an hour or 15 minutes throughout the day or whatever. So he was like, you can bring whatever snack from home that you want or whatever, and eat it during that time. So he was like, you don't have a snack. If y'all do want a snack, I'm selling, the snack packs for 25 cents. So it's like, if you want one of them, just give Mr. Duncan 25 cents. He'll give you a cheese and cracker, thing. Got 50 cents, you get two. So, and then, and I used to, always, want them to, like I'd be buying them from him, beforehand. Like, hey, yeah, I got a quarter, snack pack, please. So, when he gave it to me, everybody was like, "Oh wow," like wow, that was like, and shoot, I was excited because I'm like, "Oh yay," like thank you, especially food. And then, oh, another thing, when he gave us the size of the paper, he told us to write down three things that we, would want that's under $5. So you would get something that was on your list. So everybody in the classroom, we wrote our name on the paper, then we had to write down three different things, that we want, a coloring book, a doll baby, some socks, whatever on that paper that's, cost under $5 each. So one of the things that was on my paper was the cheese snacks. But I said a box, but he ended up giving me two. And I don't even know what was the other one. Probably a doll baby. I just probably put a doll baby, because like I said, I wasn't thinking that no, he, was it? No, matter of fact, that wasn't even on my thing. Was that on my list? I'm trying to think because it wasn't even, I didn't even know that me and him was going to get picked. I'm thinking, one of my classmates was gonna, yeah, so that probably was on my list. I shouldn't have did write that down. Not even knowing, the price of it. I mean, I wasn't looking at no prices at the time. It was like, okay, if I put a doll baby down on the list, give me a doll baby under $5. If I put some socks on the list, get socks for under $5. So, but yeah, I'm quite sure that was on the list. So, I wouldn't mind having it, one of my classmates get me a box of, cheese snacks. Probably put, it could have been the 3 or 4 packs. But shoot, I'm over here thinking, hey, 25 cents each, but that's what Mr. Duncan's selling for. If it's under $5, that's, I mean, she get more than four, because four is $1. So, yeah. But anyways, so I was excited. So of course, here go my classmates. Demetra, you can't. Here go a quarter. Matter of fact, in the beginning, I was just giving them out. Me being nice or whatever. They was like, Demetra, can I have a pack? Can I? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I would give a pack to somebody, and then shoot, man, I started a whole freaking no. But that was a lesson learned because I gave a pack to somebody, and then other people seen it, and then they was like, "Oh, Demetra, can I have a pack?" And I'm just like, "Okay, sure." And then they was like, "Can I have two? I can give one to my brother." Now I know they have a brother, so I'm just like, "Okay, here go two." And then I'm just like, "Okay, that's it." And I'm like, "Don't tell nobody I gave you, no packs or whatever." And then people come up to me, well, such and such said you gave him a pack, and I'm just like, can I get a pack? Can I? And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And I don't want to think that I'm playing favoritism because none of these, people, my classmates, I was favorite to them too, or, all of them was on the same level. So I'm just like, if I don't give this next person who come up and ask me for one, they might think that I got something against them. And I'm like, I don't. But I'm like, I'm trying to eat this for myself. So then somebody was like, seeing me giving other people some, and I don't know, was it the teacher, was it Mr. Duncan, or was it another classmate of mine or somebody? They were just like, hopefully you're not giving them out for free, like like that's yours. If you giving them out, have them pay for that. And I was like, well, I ain't giving no more out. Like I'm done. And I don't think nobody else came up and asked me for one. If they did, I probably was like, I got to save it. I got to save it. Or it was low. Or only have a little bit left. Something. But yeah, but I was like, shoot, I ain't gonna do that no more. Like, because people, that's how arguments and stuff start. Like, oh, Demetria ain't give me one, but she gave such and such a one. So I'm like, no favoritism. No. So yeah, but sure enough, I think we ate up. Me and my sister and my mom, or just me and my sisters, we ate, a pack, or couple of packs in a day. So them things was good. I think I might make me a box of them. And I don't think they come with the red sticks anymore. I think that was like a hazardous, which is cool. But I grew up with the red sticks, red plastic stick. Yeah. Well, let's see. Man, that F-14 bus. This is when I was in elementary school, and I missed like the last week and a half, maybe 2 weeks of school because we had moved. Man, we was constantly moving. Like I don't, man. But I guess my mother had to do what she had to do. But but yeah, I missed like the last probably week and a half of school. I don't even think it was 2 weeks because we had moved, and my mother was like, well, because we used to walk to school, so of course we moved away from walking distance and whatever. And I missed my sixth grade graduation, like ceremony, so I ain't even attend that. Um, but they gave my mother my stuff, the certificate and everything like that. Like I think they mailed it or something. But and then the dance, we had a sixth grade dance. I wasn't tripping about the dance. I'm like, I wasn't pressed to go to no dance. But my graduation, yeah. And I even was telling my mother, like, Mom, the F-14 bus is one bus that I just have to take. Like, the bus, because I done seen students and some of their parents, get off at the corner. The F-14 bus stop on Marlboro Pike and, oh, what's that, Glacier Avenue where the school was on. You just gotta walk right down 2 blocks, like a straight shot. Like you can see the school. After a minute of walking, like you can see the school. So I'm like, and then that same bus drop get comes right in front of the apartments where we moved to. So it was like I didn't have to transfer or anything. I could just stay on the bus, know the bus schedule. So I was even getting the bus route. Like I got the paper and everything. Cause one day, because I was a safety patrol, so I patrolled down further at that end, and I remember getting a bus schedule thing for that, and I was like, even just timing the kids from the morning time. I probably didn't even had no bus schedule. I probably was just timing the kids from the morning time. Well, yeah, I think I did have a bus schedule. My mother had bus schedules. So it was like, look, Mom, the F-14 comes at this time. I could be at school, at this time. I can take this bus and then be home at, She was like, no, Dee Dee, no. But I'm like, I see the kids right there getting off. Yeah. Oh my goodness, being a safety patrol. Mm. I don't even think I want to do that because I was just like, ain't nobody really going to be listening to me. Like, what and then they say you just really, of course, just make sure the kids cross the street safely. And of course, this is like a block from the school, a straight shot. So it wasn't like a major highway, it wasn't nothing. It was like just crossing the street. So it wasn't much to it. And then, when it's like a group of kids, there was like wait till there's like a group of kids, and then, you stand in the street and then let the kids go. But then sometimes it's like one kid and then another kid coming up, but you gotta, tell the kid, okay, hold on. But then sometimes they don't want to listen because it's just like right there. It wasn't no cars or nothing. It was just like, hey. So some kids probably, really wasn't listening to me. And then man, I was safety patrolling one day in the hallway, right in front of the library, and the hallway you supposed to walk, you're supposed to be running. So kids be running down the hallway, and I'm like, walk, walk, please, walk. And I'm like, I don't want to yell. So it's like kids, they just keep running past me. I'm like, tell them, walk, walk. They further down. I'm like, walk, and then they just steady running. I'm like, what? And one kid even kept running. Was like, what did you say? Like when he got to me, I'm like, can you walk? He was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, you kept running to me to, so you could hear what I'm saying, but walk. And shoot, you can do it. Mm-mm. And these was lower kids. Like I'm in the sixth grade. These kids in the third, fourth, fifth. Like I said, walk. Like dang it. And then a teacher would come out, or a teacher be sometimes standing in the hallway, you know, and they be like walk, and then they listen to the teacher. But I'm like, damn, I got this belt on. You don't see this orange belt? But yeah, I guess that's about it. Um, alrighty. Till next time.